Hi guys, I'm Shane Snipes and you're watching Sustainable 1000 TV and radio. I'm here in Montreal, Canada. For those of you guys who don't know where that is, look it up on a map right now because you need to know this is a cool place. And it's been wild to spend time with you here in the city and to tell me.
It's great to have you.
Tell me about Montreal. What's wonderful about it?
Montreal is such a hip, cool city. I love it because the population is about 2 million, and it's a bilingual city. It's about 80% francophone, but the majority of the francophones speak English.
Yeah.
And it's probably in North America, besides Quebec City, it's the closest thing you'll find to Europe.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting. Quebec has its own legal system. We have 18-year-old drinking age, and here pot is decriminalized, so it's like a fine rather than being arrested in the United
So
States.
that's why you moved up here.
Part of it, yes. The 18-year-old.
The 18-year-old
drinking age.
Yeah, Mom, Dad, I'm going to see you later. But you came from Boston.
Yes.
When I lived in Boston, I was in JP, Jamaica Plain, and Boston I find to be a pretty conservative place. And maybe it's the Puritan background. I don't know, but
yeah.
Culturally it feels a little bit conservative.
It has some pockets of hipness. Like I think JP is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Areas of Cambridge. And this is what I love about Montreal is you really have hip running through the whole city. You know, it's a really cool city. Graffiti is allowed, but in a good way. You can go to a bank in Montreal and the teller will have a blue streak in her hair and a nose ring. And this is fine, nobody cares.
Sure.
You know, you're allowed to have individual style.
Sure.
Whereas I think in Boston that's sort of suppressed.
Yeah, Beantown. And maybe for someone who grew up there, it's even more interesting. What's your now that you've had some distance to the sort of Boston culture, how do you find it?
Well, I love going back now. It's, Boston I think is continuing to improve. It's a beautiful city. It's a great city. I did enjoy living there. But when you go back, it is a little uniform. It feels a little provincial. It's kind of vanilla, so which is surprising for a university city like Boston.
Multiple universities.
You'd think that it'd have like a
huge universities are there.
You'd think they'd have after-hours clubs, the metro would be open later, things like this, but you have that in Montreal.
Yeah, and so from your view, looking at sort of the environmental attitudes between the two cities, is there a difference?
Yeah, I think you could view Montreal as being like one big Cambridge, where people are really aware of this, and the city supports it a lot. So we have like eco centers where you have recycling centers all around the city where you can go and you can bring your batteries or your paint or anything, and they're always open. So the city helps to make it very easy to be environmentally conscious here.
Sure.
And it is required that you recycle. So
yeah, what's your favorite green website?
I go on Huffington Post a lot,
right.
Which has a green section. So I would say probably this. And now yours.
Whatever. There's no need to brown nose me. I know no one comes to my site except for you guys out there right now, and I appreciate it, by the way. Daryl had a question about Republicans, and his question was,
love to hate them.
His question was specifically how do Canadians view Republicans?
Definitely not very fondly. Although I am disappointed that we now have a conservative prime minister. And it's disappointing and surprising considering how much the Canadians were against George Bush and those terrible 8 years. Canada refused to support the Iraq War. And so not fondly, I don't think I've ever met a Canadian who had anything good to say about Bush or the Republicans. But yet at the same time, well, the problem in Canada is that we have a five-party system, a parliamentary system. So you have the left-wing parties are all splitting the left-wing vote. So you have Parti Québécois, which is local, but politically they're more like NDP or Green Party. And then you have NDP and then you have the Liberals. So that's fracturing the left vote. And for that reason, the Conservatives have been in power. Yeah. But overall, no, Canadians do not have a positive view of Republicans. So they're paying attention.
And the skew in terms of the political stuff, because that's kind of interesting that it's skewed out like that. There's not a similar, I guess, splitting happening on the conservative side?
There had been an extreme right-wing party, and they merged and created the Conservative Party, I think about 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And when that happened, it really gave a boost to conservatives because finally they had one party, and now they've had conservative prime ministers, whereas this wouldn't have happened before.
Sure.
And if you would emerge on the left vote, you would definitely have the liberals or the left wing would definitely be in power in Canada.
It's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's going to happen in America with the tea baggers. I mean, the Tea Party.
Well, yeah, I hope so. This could be a really cool part of the Tea Party, which kind of was created by Fox News and by Murdoch. You know, this has really backfired on them because now you have these unelectable Tea Party candidates winning Republican primaries, and so it's a boom for Democrats. So this is definitely backfired for them.
It's interesting though, because I was listening to NPR about that, and they were actually talking about so many of the races being so close because of the polls. My question for you, and it seems like I don't think you know the answer to this, nor do I, but it seems like to me the polls don't really tell us anything anymore. Other than we're basically split in half.
Right.
Half the people think this, half the people think that, but I think it's because the way we put the questions together.
Yeah.
You're going to create a polarity whenever you put questions together like that.
True, and it's also, I think, a lot of people don't realize that they're voting against their own interests with some parties. You know, especially the Republican Party has done an excellent job of spinning its image to be different than what it actually is. So it actually fools people into thinking that they're voting for something that they're not.
Sure. Yeah, and it's pretty wild. So you guys can probably see this. He's had some work undone.
Erasing the past.
Erasing the past. Gone are the tattoos, or soon to be gone are the tattoos. Any of you guys who have tattoos, tweet me. I want to find out what your experience was for trying to get those things removed. I want to see if there's any similarities.
Want to show them on the back?
Yeah, no. Yes, actually, I kind of do want to show it, but it would be really gross.
Show it.
Huh?
You want to show it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and show it. All right, he's gonna show his.
It's a warning to everyone.
Yes.
Do not get a tattoo.
Do not get a tattoo because this is what it looks like when they have to come off. And you will see. Yeah. Alright, do you see the bubbles? Guys, check out those bubbles. It's pretty wild. Yeah, so there's, guys, those really
This is 2 days after a laser tattoo removal session.
Bubbles.
1 of 8.
And you have to have 8 of them to get rid of the tattoo. And is it all basically gone when you do the 8 sessions?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It can be longer, depending. Mine are black, so if it's all black, they're easier to remove than
are they?
Tattoos that have colors.
If they have different colors in them. All right, cool. You got to see a hot back and a tattoo at the same time. So I'm sure the viewers are gonna go through the roof. Anytime I do something crazy like this, everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just." I love it. It's really funny. All right, let's get some more of your guys' comments. Let's see. Oh yeah, Elisabetta. It looks like Elisabetta says, "Nice back, beautiful." I can't believe you just did that. What does that have to do with sustainability? You know me. No, you know me, Elisabetta. I will do anything to get an audience. I'm just kidding. I won't do anything. I'll do just about anything. But keep sending me your ideas about stuff I should be doing, though, because I am going to try to do some of those cool adventure things that you sent me. Like going caving and kind of doing an interview in a cave and like just getting out into nature a lot more. So I appreciate those ideas. I have to get a battery pack or something to make that happen. But back to our guest. You're getting lots of great feedback on your back, so good work.
Nice blisters.
Good work. Nice blisters, exactly. Okay, Sarah. Sarah's question is, Canadian, what does that mean in terms of green? When I say Green Party.
Green Party? Or, okay, Green Party, I believe it's the, I'm a new Canadian, so I've only had my Canadian citizenship for 1 year. I've lived in Montreal for 6 years.
He's a neo-Canadian.
Yes. Nouveau. And so the Green Party is, I believe it's the smallest political party. It's maybe 5% or something. I could be totally wrong. But since we have a parliamentary system, you can have as many parties as you want. So we have Green, NDP, which is the New Democratic Party, which is somewhere between Green and the Liberals. The Liberals are closest to the Democrats.
Right.
So tell me the question again.
What is Green as far as like the party in Canada?
I don't have an answer to that. Does she mean in terms of like what do Canadians view as being green? Or
Yeah, let's flip it like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think especially recently with the contrast with Bush, Canada had joined the Kyoto Protocol. And one of the disappointments of the Conservative Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, is he took Canada out of Kyoto. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a stain on our reputation right now are the Alberta sand tars tar sands that are where we're getting all the oil from. And this is like a huge environmental disaster. So right now, I don't know, I think unfortunately Canada's probably talking the talk more than walking the walk.
Right.
But that's more than the U.S. is doing. The U.S. won't even talk the talk, and in Canada, you won't find global warming deniers the way you will in the U.S. Yeah. And I don't think Canada doesn't have the corporations don't have the same influence in Canada as they do in the United States because of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, which gave, back I think in the 20s, which gave corporations in the United States the rights of a human being. And the Canadian Supreme Court struck that down. So I think that's really where the U.S. and Canada split apart in terms of the power of the corporations. Right. So that's why the government has more power to regulate the Canadian companies.
Sure. Which we need, because it's horrible that they can actually give unlimited amounts of money to campaigns now. That should not happen. Politics is for people, not for companies. And there, I've said it. Now you know. So be sure you check us out at sustainable1000.com. We'll be right back after this quick little break, and we'll keep broadcasting, but I'm going to take a break so I can push this out to YouTube and double, triple, quadruple our watchers. Thanks again. Bye.